Okay, guys, I just realized that if I try to put this as a thumbnail, it's not going to get everything. This is the final video for the 4 Seasons of Marriage. I did record one right before this one, so if you missed it, please check it out. I also told you guys to please don't mind the noise in the room, and also my son is asleep because this is really the only time I had to do these videos. 2 videos are uploading right now, and then plus this one. So happy Saturday to everybody. I'm gonna just leave the notes like this, guys, so you guys can see it. I'm not gonna be able to really put this as a thumbnail. It's too big. Wasn't really thinking about that when I said it, but if you want to screenshot it, you can. These are the notes, because we're gonna jump right back into strategy 7, and then this is the rest of the notes. Okay, so guys, let's close this book. We're on strategy 7, guys. We're on 215. We have about 3 pages left. I'm very proud of you all that have been following along with us with this reading. I know many of your lives have been changed for the better. This was very eye-opening to me, you know. So let's just continue to read and close this out. Strategy 7 is implement the power of positive influence. Remember, we're still in the study guide. So thousands of people live in these self-made prisons because they fail to understand. And the reason why I'm recording it on the book is because we don't have as much to read today. It's easier for me when I put it down and just read. But we do have some videos on this playlist where I have had it on the book. So thousands of people live in these self-made prisons because they fail to understand the power of positive influence. It is true that you cannot change your spouse, but it is equally true that you can and do influence your spouse every day. When a husband or wife is willing to choose a positive attitude, that leads to positive actions. To change in the spouse is often radical. Okay, number 1. Do you have a story of how you changed as a result of someone else's influence? Have you seen someone change because of your influence? Share it with the group. Number 2. What is the difference between being an influencer and a manipulator? Number 3, how do most people react when they feel manipulated? Number 4, what does manipulation communicate about a person's self-esteem? Honesty, pride? Number 5, read Psalms 120 verse 3 through 4 and 1 Peter 2:1. How's manipulation deceitful? Based on these verses, how does God feel about deception? Number 6, discuss the idea that we don't have to be controlled by emotions, whether our own or our spouses. When is it difficult to apply that concept? What are some helpful tips to putting it into practice in daily life? Number 7, discuss with the group various positive choices you've made, from trivial to crucial, that went against your feelings at the time. Number 8, what is the first step in any positive change? Discuss the idea that positive choices lead to positive actions that result in positive feelings. Number 9, what value is there in admitting your feelings but not being controlled by them? Number 10, skim 1 Samuel 1 through 2, the story of Hannah's desire for a child. Describe her emotions, how she dealt with them, and how she became a person of influence in positive rather than negative ways. Committed to prayer. This strategy is appropriate when your spouse does not show interest in working on your marriage. The greatest tool at your disposal is prayer. Whatever season your marriage is in, bring God's loving power into your marriage. Talk to Him about your hurts, failures, doubts, and joys. He is your ally and your source of strength. Ask Him to help you gain control over your emotions. He will also give you the ability to keep from being controlled by your spouse's emotions. Ask God for wisdom and discernment in choosing positive attitudes, words, and actions. And now we're on part 3, putting your plan into practice, moving forward from here and now. What is one key truth you gained from this book, this study, the group discussions? Number 2, which strategy spoke to you the most? Which strategy spoke the most to your spouse? Number 3, please forgive my rambling, guys. I haven't eaten breakfast yet. Number 3, have you been able to apply any of the strategies in your marriage yet? If so, share what you've done and the results. Number 4, have you and your spouse shared any meaningful moments through the Make It a Date for couples in private or committed to prayer suggestions? If you're willing, share a highlight or two with the group. Number 5, what goals have you set on your own or with your spouse for the coming months? What steps will you take to implement them? And we're going to get into some words of hope in closing. Give me 1 second, guys. Words of hope in closing. When a husband and wife both live according to God's design for them, they will be mutually submitted to each other and looking out for each other's best interests. In this free and loving partnership, they will be able to accomplish the purpose that God has for their life together. God designed God designed just such a marriage for you. I have seen these strategies turn literally thousands of marriages from the coldness of winter to the excitement of spring. I know they will work for you. I pray that out of his glorious riches he may strengthen you with power through his spirit in your inner being, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith. And I pray that you, being rooted and established in love, may have power together with all the saints to grasp how wide and long and high and deep is the love of Christ, and to know this love that surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled to the measure of all the fullness of God. Ephesians 3:16 through 20. And then he says, you've made it this far in your marriage. Keep going. There's no way to know the miraculous power of God if we quit before he is finished working. And he is working all the time. You can count on that. He has wonderful blessings ahead for you and your spouse. May you become one of those older couples that inspire the thought while they've gone the distance.